You don't always know how you know. You just do. You walk into a room and immediately sense the shift, the tension beneath polite smiles, the emotional weather no one has named yet. You read tone faster than words. You anticipate reactions before they happen. Sometimes, you know a relationship is ending long before anyone says goodbye. Sometimes, you know not to trust someone without a single concrete reason. And people call it intuition. They say, "You're so perceptive." But what they don't see is the exhaustion beneath it, the constant scanning, the inability to fully rest. Here is the paradox. The very skill that once kept you safe is now the thing that keeps you distant. Hyper-awareness is rarely born in calm environments. It is forged in unpredictability. So the question is, did your intuition grow from wisdom or from necessity? To understand this archetype, imagine a smoke detector that became so sensitive. It goes off when someone lights a candle. It's not broken, it's overtrained. Psychology calls this hypervigilance. When someone grows up in an environment marked by emotional unpredictability or chronic instability, their brain learns an unspoken rule. Safety depends on anticipation. The amygdala becomes finely tuned. Meanwhile, the part of the brain responsible for rest rarely gets to fully engage. The mind is always doing, rarely being. This often comes from parentification, when a child learns to read moods because moods determine consequences. The nervous system isn't asking, "What do I feel?" It's asking, "What's about to happen?" This is not mystical knowing. It is survival intelligence. Carl Jung once wrote, "What we do not make conscious will direct our lives, and we will call it fate." For the hyper-aware survivor, the cost is immense. You sacrifice spontaneity for preparedness. You sacrifice softness for control. There is a grief that comes from never being surprised by kindness, because you're always braced for the moment it might disappear. The core fear beneath this archetype is not danger itself, it is unpredictability. So even joy is monitored, even calm feels suspicious, even rest feels undeserved. You become the kind of person who knows, but rarely feels fully held. And that knowing becomes a quiet loneliness, because few people understand that your insight was earned, not gifted. Now, these patterns evolve in adulthood. You might sense relational shifts before they're conscious, then withdraw too early. You might struggle with trust, seeing endings forming before beginnings stabilize. Over-prepare at work, becoming indispensable yet chronically tense. Or feel responsible for other people's emotions while neglecting your own. These are not flaws. They are coping strategies. Healing begins not with fixing, but with witnessing. Recognizing that your nervous system is replaying an old survival script in a new environment. Unlearning means asking, is this awareness serving me now or protecting a version of me that no longer exists? But healing is not about shutting off intuition. It's about teaching the body that vigilance is no longer the price of safety. Practices like inner child reparenting allow you to become the stable presence you never had. Choosing softness becomes an act of courage. Because wholeness is not about becoming less aware, it's about becoming less afraid of rest. As philosopher Alan Watts said, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it and join the dance. You were never broken. You were brilliant in an environment that demanded brilliance too early. Now, your work is not to survive, but to live. Share this with someone who always just knows, not because they need fixing, but because they deserve understanding. If you made it this far, it means you are finally ready to lay down your armor. Comment, "I am safe now," to signal your nervous system that the war is over. If this resonated, share it with the friend who always carries everyone else's burden. And subscribe to the Psyche Archive for conversations that go where shallow words can't. You don't need to predict the future anymore. You just need to trust yourself to handle it. Welcome home.